Decided to switch it up a little bit. I always felt like I was scrambling to get the stream going and having issues and stuff. So pushed it back a little bit, take my sweet time, and here we are. So, hello. There we go. Welcome in. I am Jason, aka Woo Woo J Train. It's been a little over a week since I've done one of these, but the dinger is open, which is kind of amazing that we're already here. I'll probably, with the bullpen, I just drafted as much as I could. I wound up at 115 of those. I'm going to shoot for probably 100 entries in the dinger, maybe a little more. We'll just kind of see what other contests are out there. But this is the big one. So let me actually, I'm going to queue up for one real quick. And we'll see. No. Okay, only need 4 more people. Sweet, now 5. Pain. So let's do a little summation of the rules. I think there's going to be a good chunk of people getting into MLB Best Ball for the first time again this year. Hopefully more than last year. Hopefully this game keeps growing and growing because it is really fun. Really, really fun. And the $10 price point is just such a great price point for the main tournament to be, I think. They've also got a $3 called the Bunt right now. And then they brought the perfect game back. I thought last year that one was 250, but this iteration of the perfect game that's out there right now is 100, if memory serves me correctly. So, the dinger. Quick rule summary. 12-person groups for the first round, standard. 10-person groups for rounds 2 and 3, and then a 280-person final. 84,000 total entries, 7,000 groups. Top 2 in round 1 will go to round 2. Top 2 in round 2 will go to round 3, and then you got to finish top 1 in round 3 to make the final. As far as the time frame for the contest, we're looking at the first 16 weeks of the best ball season, and we actually have dates. I'll keep scrolling down, but here's the breakdown for the prizes. So, top prize is 100 grand, second's 50, third's 35, fourth is 30. So a nice, pretty flat pay structure, which I think is really, really cool. If you make the final, you're guaranteed $500, basically, which is really nice. And then as far as the scoring goes, here are the dates. So I'm going to go straight down to, we said, the first 16 weeks, right, of the season are going to be round 1. So that gets us to the end of July. So this contest is ending earlier than it did last year. So the first round of the playoffs is going to take place at the end of July, bleeding into early August. Round 3, mid-late August, and then round 4, late August to early September, essentially. So that's just a quick rundown. I had the scoring. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll go back to the dinger to just show how the points break down. I might have missed this on the big rules summary, but hitters, 3 points for a single, 6 for a double, 8 for a triple, 10 for a home run, 3 for a walk, 3 for a hit by pitch, 2 for an RBI, 2 for a run, and 4 for a stolen base. Roster-wise, each week, your top 3 pitcher scores, your top 3 infield scores, your top 3 outfield scores, what you use, and then you get a flex. So either, an infielder or outfielder. Basically the 4th highest scoring of a group, essentially. That's it. So the pitcher scoring, I scrolled by that, sorry. A win is 5, a quality start is 5. That's a big difference between Underdog and DraftKings. DraftKings doesn't give you a point for a quality start. Strikeouts are 3, innings pitched are 3, earned runs are 3, -3. Another big difference between Underdog and DraftKings, and I love this. So you did not get penalized for walks from a pitcher. So that makes certain guys, one guy in particular, to me, much more valuable on this site than on DraftKings. I wouldn't say much more, but it's kind of a wash because he can't get through 5 innings without throwing like 100 pitches. I'm talking about Dylan Cease, of course. But anyway, that's a quick rundown of the contest itself, the scoring. Again, these are the 3 contests that are live right now. And we are close. We only need one more person for this one, which is awesome. So, let's go to our way too early slate. Sent out a tweet when I was done with. Is this right? I feel like this is right. Whatever. Sent out a tweet going over my exposures for the bullpen contest. So here they are. See, the draft is starting in 35 seconds. Hello. Welcome. But yeah, I for the bullpen contest, I decided to really like my pitcher exposures. I think are like relatively even-ish. Like I'm not hugely overweight on any one guy. Carlos Rodon scares the crap out of me because he can't stay healthy. But um, decided to take some stands with infielders, especially at the tail end of the draft. Um, and then outfielder, I'm ready to be crushed by Mike Trout's wavering health. Where are we at? Ah, we're picking third. Hey, Dark Sheep's in here. This is gonna be fun. I feel like lately, whenever I've hopped into a draft, it's been like Nez or Dark Sheep with the first pick, and it makes me angry. I'm happy for them though. I love the third pick because I mean you literally can't go wrong. In the bullpen, I was almost exclusively taking Judge over Soto. Like if I was the second pick, well, there's a Wit, and I'm gonna do it here. I just the upside of Judge is absolutely insane. The floor of Juan Soto is absolutely insane. I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that Aaron Judge can stay on the field and not go on the IL at all, or if he does, only for a very brief time. um, but his upside is just absolutely massive. So that's why I've been picking Judge over Soto. I'm not against Soto at all. I'm not trying to fade him necessarily, but picking Soto over Judge to me just feels like a safety play. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to chase upside with my first round pick, especially out of these outfielders. So Witt going 2 overall is very interesting. You're going to see some funky stuff in these rooms early on, I think. Everything else looks kind of normal. I love Jordan. Um, this guy can just put together a full season. Like, I mean, he's got about as much upside as anybody if he can just put together a full season. Unfortunately, that's been pretty difficult for him to come by. There's a lot of badges in this draft. Am I the only one without one? Oh, no, this guy, Expert, doesn't have one. All right, cool. Not that I care, but it's just interesting. So minus Witt going second overall, the normal run of outfielders goes in the first 10 picks, again, outside of Witt. The turn, this 12 pick, that's going to be the chalk pairing right there, Freeman Olsen. I have a few, I think only a couple of those pairings in the bullpen, but I think for this contest I might try to get a little weird at the turn. I might use that 12th pick as like I'm either gonna double tap infielder but get weird with my combinations, get different with my combinations, or that's when I'm gonna do a Strider or Cole team. And if I go with a Strider or Cole start, I don't feel the need to double tap them right now. The ADPs will adjust. We'll see what happens. But my current line of thinking is if I'm going to pick one of those two guys with my first/second round pick, I'm probably just going to go ahead and make that a 5-pitcher build, which a 5-pitcher build is really fragile because, injuries and whatnot. But I think that there is a way that you can do it where you're not completely and totally torpedoing your offense. It's a very, very fine line. So we see Seager go 15. So that's well ahead of his current ADP. Actually, he's only at 19.5. He's settled around like the 22, 23 range in the bullpen. I'll be really interested to see if that happens again. And I'm going to take Mike Trout. I can't stop clicking Mike Trout's name. I know that he's had trouble staying on the field the last couple of years. I just don't care. I'm upside hunting with these first picks. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. But if we can get another like full year out of Trout, even though the Angels are going to be pretty bad. I think their offense might be okay, but losing Ohtani is just, I mean, that's brutal. I'm going to guess Sheep goes Alonzo Robert. Ah, I see what you're doing. Doing the Brave stack. I like that. I like that. All right, let's see what expert auto drafts here. So the question is, do I go 3 outfield or do I go 2 outfield and an anchor infielder? Oh, Alonzo went. That was actually who I was going to go with. I'm not drafting Vlad at this price. I'm just not doing it. Let's see. Man, outfield really dries up. I'm just going to go ahead and go all out with the outfield and go with Luis Robert. This is a high price for Robert. I wish he was settling in like the 30s or so. That would be lovely. I don't think that we've seen his ceiling yet. I think last year is close to it. And the thing that worries me about him is that the White Sox are just hot garbage. So that's a little worrisome. But I mean, this guy has massive power. He has speed. I wish they would let him run more. The White Sox can't keep anybody's legs healthy, so that's probably why they don't. But I truly don't think that we've seen Luis Roberts' ceiling yet. I wish he would walk more, accumulate more stats. But, I mean, he could put up a 1450 or a 1500 point season, and it wouldn't even remotely surprise me. There needs to be a bit of improvement for that to happen, but it's really hard to not like a Judge Trout Robert start, just in terms of the potential upside of those three together. The other thing I was considering there was Devers. I think Devers is relatively undervalued. I think his ADP was settling even a little bit lower than what it's at currently. I think he was in the 30s or something like that. I'm not going out of my way to mention the White Sox. I prefer to not, but it's a valid point with Luis Robert. If he had a competent offense around him, I'd feel much better about the pick. Just saying. Sorry, not sorry. I'll try not to. I just have so much disdain in my soul for the White Sox right now. It's really hard for me to not mention them. Gunnar Henderson at 34. Okay. I see you. We're 11 picks away, so let's kind of talk about. This is really early to be doing this, but I did pull up the Rockies, Reds, and Red Sox schedule for the season. Specifically, the beginning of August, the end of July, the Rockies are on the road. So the reason I'm looking at this is because, if you remember, I got off of it. Give me a second. I wanted to pull up the actual dates for you guys so you can see them. But the end of the regular season for this contest is July 28th. So, looking at schedules for the three, I'm not trying to, I promise. It looks like I was looking at the three best ballparks from last year by park factor. So, Coors Field, Great American Ballpark, and Fenway were like the top three ballparks to hit in. And I have 5 picks away. I haven't lost track of my draft. So, if you get your team through the regular season and you're in these playoff rounds, who is playing in these ballparks is what I wanted to look at. So, I'm not leaning into this too much, but it could be a tiebreaker type decision, right? So, basically nothing is happening in that first round of the playoffs in Coors until the Mets and Braves show up. And that is right at the end of the first round of the playoffs. So if I'm kind of stuck, like if I was stuck between Vlad Guerrero and Pete Alonso on my last pick there, I might lean towards Alonso because the Mets are going to be in Coors in this playoff round. You know, I'm going to take Alonso over Vlad every time, but the schedule is just something I'm trying to start paying more attention to at the moment. We're on the clock, and we're going to go ahead and take Pablo Lopez as our first pitcher. Let me catch back up to where we are here. All right. So we've got a 3 outfielder, 1 starter start. And we'll just kind of see what comes back around. I love this range of pitchers. Blake Snell has really fallen from where he started in the bullpen. I think he was the first pitcher on the board. He auto-drafted Valdez. Anyway, I think he was the first pitcher on the board in the bullpen. And there was just absolutely no shot I was going to take him over Strider or Cole. But he's kind of settled in this 55-ish range as far as his, ADP goes. And I don't hate that. So I will have, if this continues, I probably will have more Snell in this contest than I did in the bullpen. Judge, Trout, Robert Lopez. I could draft another outfielder and just shut that position down for a while. But I feel like with this start, I need to operate as if these 3 guys are going to stay healthy or have ceiling years or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and I really like Brandon Nimmo. Just as an accumulator type guy. I think I can catch up pitching. I'm going to take Nimmo. I don't have any of him yet. I mean, this is only my 3rd dinger, so. But he just feels like such a safe play. I mean, he's consistent, if nothing else. I don't know that there's much more juice past this, like 1,355, mid 1,300s point range. But just as a guy who has a solid floor, and we just looked, the Mets are in Coors during that first round of the playoffs, only 3 games, but, it's just, I don't know, it's something to consider. The Coors is actually, not that huge of an impact. Never mind, I'm going to back off that statement. Because there's quite a few. Well, obviously the Braves are just nuts. As far as the Marlins go, there aren't many of them being drafted. There aren't many Marlins bats being drafted. I think it's just Jazz, Chisholm, Jake Berger, Brian De La Cruz and Luis Ariz. He doesn't matter for playing in Coors. He doesn't have any power. But the Orioles being in Coors, I think this is during the final, actually. Yeah, so the final round is August 26th through September 8th. So that's when you're getting the Marlins, the Orioles, and I think that's it. Yeah. So, um, again, I don't know that I'm gonna lean too much into that, but like, if there's a tiebreaker type of situation, like I'm happy with two guys equally. I might think, oh, Anthony Santander for the Orioles is going to be in Coors in the final. Like, I don't know. Will I actually have that thought? Maybe not, but it'll just be something to think through. Um, Great American Ballpark. The Cubs are in town for the last week. Wait, I keep forgetting these dates, guys. I'm sorry. Yes. The Cubs are in town for the first week of the first playoff. Um, and they've got a few bats that are appealing. The Giants, there's literally one giant bat that's being drafted regularly. I say regularly based on the bullpen experience, and that's even subjective, but Tyro Estrada is the guy I'm thinking about. Conforto goes sometimes. So that's pretty much a non-factor. We've got the middle of August. The Cardinals are in Cincinnati. So are the Royals, but pretty much no Royals are being drafted. Vinny Pasquantino is maybe the only one. I'd have to think through that. Some people take Salvador Perez, but I almost did it. I almost did it again. I almost started talking about the White Sox. I didn't. I stopped myself. You should be proud of me. Then the A's and Brewers are there to finish off the season. So Great American Ballpark doesn't really have attractive offenses, shall we say. The Cardinals are. They've got a few guys, but and the Brewers have just a couple. But Boston was another park that popped last year, like a rolling three years average on Baseball Savant, I think is what I was looking at. But in Boston, we've got the Mariners in town for the first round of the playoffs. And then this is huge. Astros and Rangers, the 9th of August through the 14th. So end of round 2, going into round 3, we've got two elite offenses in a great ballpark. And then toward the end of the month, we've got the Diamondbacks, who are going to be a solid offense. And then we've got the Blue Jays, who are, I don't know what to make of them. I don't know. Are they, do we need to start asking the question, is Vlad actually like that guy? Because I'm starting to wonder if he's not. But, so just a couple little things, additional things I have to think about. The scheduling side of it. Where are these teams going to be when you really need the points? So, and obviously, the other side of that, we're not just looking at the away teams that are in, we're looking at the home teams that play in their own park too. So, I'm going to go Freddie Peralta as my second pitcher in. I really like him this year. So, that's it. That's all I got. I think Peralta has some massive strikeout stuff. The concern with him is how many innings can he throw? But if he can throw 180 innings, which I know is a big ask, but if he can throw 180 innings, he's just absolute smash at this price. He threw 165 last year. So I know 180 is kind of like a pipe dream, but it's what I'm hoping for. So we could. Bellinger is an infielder in the Dinger, where he was an outfielder in the bullpen, which is interesting. I think infielder is the correct classification for him. But it's just one less outfielder to pick from when we get to this range. I'm gonna go with a guy who's not very exciting, but I think he's just a very good pitcher. Do I want to go Max Fried? Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it with this staff. Um, let's go for it. Max Fried is just a really solid, just really really solid pitcher. That's all there is to it. Um, I'm hoping. I mean, his ratios have been pretty. Sorry, I had an alert go off and I didn't even know I had alerts. Um, his strikeouts per inning have been pretty consistent. Um, Last year had some issues of being healthy, but if he can improve upon his strikeout rate a little bit, I just think he's an awesome pitcher. He's going to have a lot of opportunities to get wins because the Braves are insane. Um, he throws deep into games, so he's going to get those quality start points. Um, he just feels like a nice kind of floor guy to go with, two guys who I hope are ceiling guys with high strikeouts with Lopez and Peralta. So, for the audio listeners, I should have been doing this the whole time. I got to get better at that. Let's recap where we're at so far. So, I had the third pick in the draft. I went with Aaron Judge. Juan Soto was there, but I went with Aaron Judge, which I've been doing the majority of the time in the bullpen because of the upside. Um, and then on the way back, I went Trout, then got Luis Robert. So I started with three outfielders. And then I grabbed Pablo Lopez as my first starter, Brandon Nimmo as my fourth outfielder, and then Freddie Peralta as my second starter, and Max Fried as my third. So we're currently at a 3-0-4 build. So three pitchers, no infielders, four outfielders. And I'm probably going to need to start catching up at infield soon. So we'll see how this goes. I actually can't believe that Cody Bellinger's still there. But I'm going to be interested to see what happens with his ADP in this particular contest because he has that infielder classification and not outfielder. I think that makes a huge difference in his attractiveness. So it'll be interesting to see where he winds up. Was just talking a little bit about the schedule. Teams that are playing in Coors, in Great American Ballpark, in Fenway. But I don't want to forget about these three offenses either. I think the Reds offense is going to be really, really fun and really dangerous. The Red Sox have an improved offense. They are going to be really reliant on, not reliant on, but I'm really watching how Tyler O'Neill fares in Boston. I really like that move for the Red Sox. He's going to get everyday at bats. He's built like an absolute tank. He doesn't have a baseball body, so I'm worried with, whether or not he can play an entire season. But that ballpark is a great upgrade for him over St. Louis. So, and then we get Trevor Story back. And we don't know what he's going to be because he's been hurt for a while. But if he can regain any of his previous form, we're going to be sitting pretty. And I'm absolutely taking Yandy Diaz here as my first infielder with pick 94. I feel very good about that. Our guy, Baseball, B3ISBOL on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He created a list using Steamer's projections, spreadsheet using Steamer's projection, and using that to come up with scoring for the bullpen contest. And Yandy Diaz is popping hard on that spreadsheet. He is very, very undervalued at his current ADP. Our guy Dark Sheep just took one of my favorite targets in the entire draft, and that's Carlos Rodon. Yes, his injury concerns are very concerning, but that dude is an absolute freaking ace. And if he can give us 150 innings, even, he just feels like an absolutely wonderful pick at this price. I was hoping Ketel Marte would come back to me. I don't really like this range all that much. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take my fourth pitcher and Hunter Green. Um, Hunter Green's another guy who's had a little trouble with the health here and there. Um, he is the ultimate. Like, we have to remember that this format is all about weekly scoring. Okay, so if this was a rotisserie format where it's a whole season long thing or whatever, I'm probably not going to be as enamored with Hunter Green because he absolutely will get just completely blown up in a few starts for whatever reason. But his stuff is so good that there are few pitchers in the contest that have upside like he does. So he feels like a just really solid number 4, number 5 starter. And, the guys I passed on there, I already have 4 outfielders. I do like Josh Lowe. I have concerns about his playing time in Tampa, winding up in a platoon or something. I like Xander to have a bounce back season, but I'm not in love with it. I have 0 Dansby Swanson. He doesn't really do much for me. Gleyber Torres is the only guy. There's the main guy I was considering here. He's another guy who's really popping on baseball's sheet. So we got 12 picks until our next one. I know I reached a little bit for Hunter Green there. I just like his spike week potential. That guy can go nuts against anybody at any time, and he can get absolutely destroyed by anyone at any time. At least that's like my perception of him. Obviously, I'd have to go back and look at box scores and make sure that statement is 100% accurate. But I don't know. That's just the feeling I've gotten through, watching the last couple seasons. Very interesting name, Jackson Churio. Goes at 107 in the 9th round. Brewers' number 1 prospect, one of the best prospects in baseball. They signed him to a major league deal. I don't know that they've come right out and say it, but I would be floored if he's not on the opening day roster. I would have loved to have seen him in Nashville play for the minor league affiliate. But I almost said the Stars. That's the major league team that they want is the Stars. But the Sounds, I was really excited to see that guy play in that stadium. And I guess it's possible he could still. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not touching. A big difference between the Dinger and the Bullpen is the Dinger has a lot more of these top prospects. So Jackson Churio, Jackson Holiday. Is there anyone else named Jackson? Wyatt Langford, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz. These guys are all in this contest. I'm probably not touching them until more projection systems come out. Specifically, I want to see how the bat feels about them before I just start throwing darts. So we've got another pick coming up here soon. Gleyber just went. Sam Olson, too sharp. Do we go with a floor infield guy, or do we go with another pitcher here and just... I think I'm going to go back to one of the guys that I was targeting heavily in the bullpen contest. I don't know. I was targeting him heavily because he was unbelievably cheap to start. this is a very fair price for Walker Buehler. We don't know what he's going to be. They're absolutely going to ease him into the season. So he's not going to have much of an impact early on, I don't think. But I always keep coming back to, if this dude can regain this form right here, if he can be that guy again, or at least somewhat close to it, he is one of the best values on the board. I was not hesitating to take him in the bullpen when he was really, really cheap. But now it's definitely a decision. And let's just keep having fun with these like youngsters with mega talent. I'm going to go with Yuri Perez. Definitely going to shut down pitcher for a while. And this might be it for my pitching staff. I might just stop here. But Yuri Perez has incredible stuff. I saw a stat earlier today on Twitter. His velocity really fell off last year as starts went on. I'm hoping just, some additional work, conditioning, experience can keep him strong throughout his starts. But he's got amazing stuff. So I don't know. I just like the fun upside of that guy in that spot. So recapping the team, we're through 11 rounds. I currently have a 6-1-4 build. So the pitchers are Pablo Lopez, Freddie Peralta, Max Fried, Hunter Green, Walker Buehler, and Yuri Perez. Infield is just Yandy Diaz hanging out by himself, just chilling. Outfield is Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Luis Robert, and Brandon Nimmo. Probably only going to go 6 outfielders here. So I could either do something kind of crazy and go 6-8-6, or I could just go with kind of a reliable 7th guy for my staff. We'll see what happens. We will see. Go ahead and show the whole board here. Let's see what our good friend Dark Sheep is doing here. Went with the Brave stack to start. Then Happ, Glasnow, Suzuki, Grayson, Rodon, Musgrove. I know you like Dansby Swanson, and I'm watching that. I'm curious. Nico Horner just, absolutely nuked last year. Kids, I don't even know. Were people drafting him last year? I don't even remember. I know I didn't have a lick of him. But my God, that guy went crazy last year. I didn't even notice it. Jung Ho Lee in San Francisco. Gonna be their center fielder? Yes, center fielder? Yeah, I think so. Again, I'm just kind of like not touching these prospects until more projection systems come out. The only one I've kind of thought about was Jackson Holiday, but like I don't know much about him. I know that he's very good at baseball, but is he going to have power translate to the majors? I don't know. Nobody knows technically, but I just need to learn more about him. But the bat and these other projection systems are going to tell me everything I need to know. I'm not gonna fall in love with a prospect just because he's a prospect if the projection systems hate him, or don't hate him, but if he's going way above where he should, then I'm just gonna let other people take him. Kind of like I was gonna say the Corbin Carroll thing last year. That didn't go well for me. Where he was going at the end of last year, he needed to have one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. And then he had one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. So that hurt because I didn't have much of him. But that's so rare. I don't know. I'm just not a big prospect guy in their first year. Big rookie guy. There we go. That's the word. Rookie. Found it. All right. 2 picks away. I know exactly who I'm picking if we get there. If you're still there. Please still be there. Please still be there. One time. Here we go. Vinny Pasquantino. Here we go. I don't really... We're going to find out how much power he has. He missed a good chunk last year with shoulder injury. But he's just a really good, pure hitter. And I'm interested to see what he can do in a full season. That Royals offense is not going to be good. But I'm just kind of betting on the talent pedigree with him. Chaz goes. I'm not going to take Chris Bryant in this draft. I've drafted him enough. I'm ready to be destroyed. A guy that I was like a different level of out on this guy last year. But I think he can hit. He showed it last year, and he did it with a bum knee. Watch Expert auto draft him. Okay, good. So Joey Meneses is a guy that I was completely and totally 100% out on last year. And he wound up doing pretty good, especially considering he played through a knee injury, which definitely sapped his power. So I think he might actually just be a good hitter. So I'm going to go ahead and take him here. So we've got 6 pitchers and 5 outfielders with only 2 infielders. So I got to get moving on infield here. 17 picks away. It's probably not going to happen if Rhys Hoskins is there when I'm up. We're partying. Oh, Tyler O'Neill at 150. Interesting. He's climbing and climbing quickly. I see. This guy is stacking San Diego and stacking Boston. Okay. I see you, Shooby Dooby. That's a great name, by the way. Shooby Dooby. That's fun. But yeah, back to Rhys Hoskins. He's been probably my favorite target in the entire draft. The baseball sheet has him, with Steamer's projections, has him projected, I think it's like the 40th highest scoring guy in the entire site. And he's going at 155. This is a guy who last year, I'd have to look at drafts from last year, but I'm pretty sure he was going in like the 4th round. 3rd or 4th round, and his injury last year was a knee thing. I think he tore his ACL, right? But he's still the same guy. I don't know. I don't get. Maybe it's people just waiting to see where he goes because he's a free agent. He's been linked to Seattle, which sounds horrible. If the Cubs whiff on Cody Bellinger, I would love to see Rhys Hoskins in Chicago. That would be awesome. Pipe dream, he gets like a 1-year prove-it deal in Colorado, which would be so awesome. I haven't heard anything to that effect, but I could see the Rockies could do anything. They're not smart. They're not a good organization. So yeah, love Rhys Hoskins. Another guy that I love in this range that had a change of scenery because of a trade is Eugenio Suarez. I love him in this Diamondbacks lineup. I think that is such a great fit. And I think he is very dangerous in this range in that offense. The guy just hits home runs. He didn't do it as much last year, which was kind of surprising. But I really like Eugenio Suarez in this range too. No matter what, there's a very good chance I'm going to go with an infielder here. Just from a construction standpoint, I need to start filling out my infield. So we're going to pray Rhys Hoskins is there. If he's not, we'll die a little inside, and then we'll draft somebody else. Suspense is killing me. Okay. We gotta survive one more. Now, we are partying. I'm doing Rhys Hoskins. I'm not gonna stop clicking his name, guys. Not gonna do it. If he goes to Seattle, I'll consider it because that park sucks. But I can't wrap my mind around why he's a 14th round pick. So, kind of probably going to live and die by Rhys Hoskins this year. And I'm okay with that. Look, he doesn't have to put up 1,300 points to pay this price off. Would that be lovely? Yeah, of course. But he doesn't have to do that in order to make this work. So, let's see where we're at. Okay, Expert. I think Expert's back. I don't think he's auto-drafting anymore. This is a guy who took Wit, right? Yeah, okay. Come on. 3 seconds. And Suarez it is. I'm really liking how this team's coming together. I'm very, very happy with this one. I have 3 pretty big question marks in my rotation. Health with Hunter Green, health and who is he with Walker Buehler, and then Yuri Perez, who is he? Those are my concerns. But I think all 3 of those guys have massive potential. I'm not worried about these top 3 at all. So with how this is shaping up, I think I'm probably going to go 7-7-6 on this team. Outfield late, like really, really late, is just a barren wasteland for which there is no joy. And we're actually kind of already there. Like if you don't have 5 outfielders by the 15th round, I think you are in big, big trouble. Because there's just not much to like here late. Kerry Carpenter, I have 0 of him in the bullpen, and I think that might be a mistake. But I'm worried about him being in a platoon and not playing every day. And that's literally the only reason why. I'm going to try to get some of him in the dinger, especially with how quickly this outfield dries up. I'm perfectly fine with taking Justin Turner. We don't know where he's going to play, but the dude's just a good hitter. He's not gonna hit 30 home runs. There's not much ceiling there. I think 1,300 points is his ceiling, which is solid for, a 16th round outfielder. But he just feels like a good floor guy to round out your outfield with, especially if you're trailing and trying to catch up at outfield. But I truly really, really enjoy this outfield that I've put together so far. So, audio listeners, it's Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Luis Robert, Brandon Nimmo, and Joey Meneses are my outfielders. I've never actually looked up how to pronounce his last name. I really hope I'm saying that right because I definitely don't want to be that guy who's just like mispronouncing names left and right. So if I'm wrong on that, y'all feel free to correct me. But I'll take a look at that when I'm done because I don't like mispronouncing things. Drives me crazy. Just recap the outfield. The pitchers are Pablo Lopez, Freddie Peralta, Max Fried, Hunter Green, Walker Buehler, Yuri Perez. And then the infielders are Yandy Diaz, Vinny Pasquantino, Reese Hoskins, and Eugenio Suarez. That's fun to say. I'm guessing my ownership percentages on infielders in this range are probably going to be pretty consistent with my bullpen ownership percentages. I was really hoping William Contreras would fall back to me. So, Dark Sheep, I don't know if you've seen this or if you will see this, but rest assured, BS Perf did not snipe you. I would have, because Contreras was going to be my next guy. Sam Olsen, man, this guy's killing me. Okay. Do I finish off my outfield with Justin Turner? I think I'm going to do it. Boom. Done. Outfield is done. My philosophy there is if I believe Justin Turner is still the hitter that he is, I shouldn't feel the need to draft a seventh outfielder and with this particular construction. That's just where I'm at. So I need to be right on Justin Turner. I got him 16 picks past ADP. I have no idea where he's going to settle, but I just think the guy's a good hitter. That's it. So outfield is going to be shut off. I'm stopping at 6. So we're going to do probably a 7-7-6 build. I might. Wow. Pete Crow Armstrong. All right. I see you, sheep. Let's see. Arizona. Haven't done any stacking. That's fine. I don't really care all that much about stacking too much in baseball. Okay. I think Ty France is just a safe hitter. And I know he's at Driveline working on some things. And I think that he's trying to figure out a way to get the ball in the air a little bit more. I want to read up a little bit more about that. But I think Ty France is just a good pure hitter. I could wait. Is he gone already? One second. Andrew Vaughn already went. Okay. I must have missed that. Where did he go? Andrew Vaughn and Ty France are basically the same person. Okay, he just went. So, hey, what's up? Thank you for stopping in, William. Hey, man, I love the stuff you're doing this year. I feel really good about this team. Let me know what you think, too, because, no, you're good. I appreciate you stopping by for, at any point. Just like talking baseball, man. It's just fun. So since you just popped in, I'll recap the team. So I started with the William says, feel like my first drafts have been sharper than the bullpen. 100% I agree with you. And I feel like outfield dries up quicker in this contest than it did in the bullpen. I don't know why that is. Um, Bellinger isn't an outfielder; he's an infielder in this contest. I mean, he's just one guy, but I think that that's forcing that range of outfielders up, like Nolan Jones, George Springer, like those guys. Um, we'll see where it all settles, but I agree with you. These this is only my third one, but the first two I did felt really tough. The bunt, I've done a couple drafts in the bunt, and that has been what I think is a clown show. Like I drafted a team today that I think is absolutely bananas. Granted, I could see that draft getting kicked out because one guy was doing some weird stuff, but nothing egregious. Um, but anyway, to answer your first question, how do I feel about this draft? I really like this team so far. I started in a 3 spot. My decision point was Soto or Judge because it went Acuna and then Witt were 1-2. And I took Judge over Soto because I'm chasing upside with that first round pick. I love Juan Soto. He's one of the best players in baseball. He has one of the most solid floors of any player in the field, but I'm chasing upside. That's my commitment more often than not with that first pick. And Aaron Judge was the second pick until Soto wound up in New York and then they flipped. So I think Judge is the play there. We'll see. So outfield is Judge, Trout, Robert, Nemo, Meneses, Turner. I'm done with outfield for the rest of the draft. Pitching staff is Pablo Lopez, Freddie Peralta, Max Fried, Hunter Green, Walker Buehler, and Yuri Perez. And then infield so far is Yandy Diaz, Vinny Pasquantino, Reese Hoskins, Eugenio Suarez, and Ty France. So I really do like how this team is coming together so far. I don't know about you, man, but like these late round outfielders, it feels so horrible drafting an outfielder from rounds like 16 on. I mean, you just really like Austin Hayes is still here. He's fine, but there's no upside there, and I'm worried about him with playing time. So I have no interest at all. Hunter Renfroe has some pop, but like Kansas City isn't great. There's nothing you can do to convince me to take Andrew Benintendi. I will not draft Andrew Benintendi a single time unless I go on auto. But a guy with no upside and a bad offense, I just absolutely zero interest. Parker Meadows is a guy who I'm looking at the end of drafts as like a final outfielder. I'm like, yeah, see, there you go. I think you and I are on the same wavelength there. Parker Meadows is going to be leading off for the Tigers, who I think are going to be a better offense than people think. Real quick, let me make this pick here. I'm going to go Anthony Rizzo. Sounds like he's going to be fully healthy, coming back. His great power days are gone. I'm not expecting too much out of him, but this is one of those situations where with that pick, I'm happy with him, Brian Hayes, Jeremy Pena, Jake Berger, Brandon Lau, but I'm just stacking him with Aaron Judge. And now I think I'm going to go ahead and go with... I'm going to wait. Shoot, I didn't think through this. I only have 2 more picks to make. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Jake Berger. His power is real. Jake Berger's power is real. I don't know if, people saw him come out of nowhere or whatever, but he's a guy that the White Sox had been waiting for a while, but just kept tearing his Achilles. He did it twice, which is brutal. But his power is absolutely real. I don't think last year was a fluke. So when looking at this contest in terms of it's a weekly scoring thing, right? Uh, with these last couple of picks, I'm either looking for guys who can string together a few really good games with power. So guys like Brandon Lau, who can't stay healthy and will probably be in a platoon. I know that, but he has quite a bit of power. Jake Berger, Francisco Alvarez, to a lesser extent, Gabriel Moreno. I don't know that Moreno has as much power as those guys, but those are kind of the guys I'm targeting if I need or if I want just like an upside bat. If I'm looking for a floor where I just feel good about the guy getting like 1,100 points and that's it, like 1,000 to 1,100, Julien scratches that itch. I love Tyro Estrada. He was on pace to absolutely smash last year. Because I don't think he was being drafted that often. I think he was like more often than not drafted, but if he was like a last round pick, and the same thing's happening this year. So I love Tyro Estrada as just a floor guy. If I'm looking for an outfielder this late, I'm just looking for a warm body who will play. And so I'm with you on the Parker Meadows thing. Do we know if he can hit? I don't know. We're going to find out. But, leading off for an offense that should be pretty decent in a division that's just not very good with the pitching. Division games matter less, but still, I don't know. I'm with you on Parker Meadows. I've also been getting some Garrett Mitchell. He's been like a final round pick for me. So if for some reason I decide to go 7 outfielders here, I think I'm going to go with a pitcher with this last pick, but I don't even know who that would be. Maybe Aaron Savall. Again, just probably looking for a guy who's going to throw innings. He doesn't have to nuke the world. He just needs to be out there on a consistent basis. I've seen Kyle Harrison lately. I'll be interested to see what projection systems say about him as more come out. And I've got a couple shares of Christopher Sanchez in Philly. But with pitcher or outfielder in especially this last pick, you're completely and totally throwing a dart. So, yeah, Kyle Harrison just went. I think I'm just gonna. I said I was gonna shut off outfield. I'm gonna do that. So let's just leave pitcher on. Max Scherzer is going to be out for a good portion of it. Where the new to the draft board players go in this draft? I will show you. When this draft ends, I'll pull up the board and I'll point out Yamamoto, Churio, Jackson Holiday, all those guys. Wyatt Langford. Is Colson Montgomery in the field? Yeah, he is. Okay. This is the flyer of all flyers for the infield, but the White Sox middle infield is an abomination. And he's one of the best prospects they've had in a long time. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them bring him up at some point. They, without certainty, will manipulate his service time. I'm very positive of that. But he's the flyer of all flyers. He's like, for me, if I just love my draft and I'm in the 20th round and I'm just in YOLO mode, I might pick him once or twice. Let's finish out our pitching staff with just a warm body. I'm not in love with Aaron Savall, but I'm in love with the Tampa Bay Rays organization and what they can do with guys. And I don't know. I think that there's potential for him to really aggressively outpace this draft position. So hang with me, Mr. Jones. And we'll bring up the draft board. We'll recap the team, and then we'll point out where some of these guys are going. I saw Yamamoto go in the second round earlier today, and I think he went in the fifth in this one. So let's view the full draft. Shut up, don't care. Let's go. All right. So let's recap the team first. All right. So probably easier to do it in this view. A 7-7-6 build. My 7 pitchers are Pablo Lopez, Freddie Peralta, Max Fried, Hunter Green, Walker Buehler, Yuri Perez, and then I closed it out with Aaron Savall. Infield, Yandy Diaz, Vinny Pasquantino, Rhys Hoskins, Eugenio Suarez, Ty France, Anthony Rizzo, and Jake Berger. Lots of guys who hit ball far. And then outfield is Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Luis Robert, Brandon Nimmo, Joey Meneses, and Justin Turner. So, there we go. Draft board. You wanted to point out some of the new names in this contest. So we've got Yoshinobu Yamamoto went 50th overall, so in the 5th round. And that kind of seems to be, like, I've only done 3 of these, and one of them is an outlier where he went in the 2nd round, which I think is bananas. But it would appear he's settling right now in that 5-6 round range. Okay. We've got, sorry, I'm just tracing my eyes to find. Okay, so Cody Bellinger with his infield eligibility as opposed to outfield went 89th. Whereas when he was an outfielder, he was going in, I want to say like this range, the like Santander, Springer, Jazz Chisholm range. Any pitcher not in the, yeah. I agree with that. You will see me, especially at the turn, like if I have the 12th pick and there's no outfielders to pick from, you will see me make some 5-pitcher builds, which to me, if you're going to do that, it necessitates having one or both of Spencer Strider and Garrett Cole. They're not optimal by any stretch of the imagination. I do think that there's a way to do them and not completely shoot yourself in the foot. But you have to use a lot of draft capital early on pitcher to make a 5-pitcher build work. I that's just my opinion. You have to be careful with it because you can't find yourself chasing outfield. Like if you have 4 outfielders going to the 15th round, you're just effed. You're done. So by and large, I agree with you. I'm not going to have much Strider and Cole because passing on these outfielders and infielders and the points that they can put up is so difficult to do. But I do think there's a time and place to do kind of a funky build. And if you're going to draft a ton of teams, I plan on doing at least 100. There's people who are going to do way more than that. That's fine. But I think 100 is definitely enough to have a portfolio where you have some of those funky builds in there. But if you're going to do like 20 to 25 drafts, I wouldn't even mess with it. I would just do, 7 or 6 in each position and just be done with it. That's just my 2 cents. Other new to the contest names, let's see. I think the next one to go was actually Wyatt Langford. Where is he at? Oh, no. Jung-Hoo Lee went at 122, which admittedly, I don't know anything about the guy. But I said earlier in the stream, I'm pretty much not drafting these rookies right now. I'm going to wait for the bat to come out. I'm going to wait for these other, ATC or whatever projection systems to come out. Read up on what smart people like you put out there into the ether before I start committing resources to these rookies. Wyatt Langford went 149, so the 13th round. Jackson Holliday went 2 picks later at 151. And I think that that's it for this draft as far as like the newcomers. Um, Bailey Ober starting to get pushed up from where he was in the bullpen, and I find that interesting. Um, a guy that I'm really watching like a hawk. Where you at? Nick Pavetta. A lot of, I don't know, chatter about one of the guys I think that worked for Driveline or something like that, like working with the Red Sox, which you know the data people are gonna love. So I could see Pavetta moving up out of this range. So I think if you want some cheap Pavetta, you're gonna have to get it now. I'd be surprised if he didn't climb a couple rounds because I think he's like solidly in the rotation and he has a ton of strikeout potential. Um, so I think he's a guy who could really move up. Um, this la- this last round is just straight up chaos. Heston Heston Kjerstad, Kyle Harrison makes sense. That makes sense. So does that. Kyle Gibson, I will not draft him. Uh, Jason Dominguez isn't going to be back until like July, right? June or July, and even then, is he going to like be on the roster? Johan Rojas, Max Scherzer's dead. Robbie Ray's dead. I don't know. Uh, yes, that would be awesome. I'd love to do that. That'd be fun, man, for sure. Um, I okay. So, admittedly, this is my fifth best ball stream, and I've been using OBS. I know everybody like in the space uses StreamYard, which seems to make things much easier for like doing stuff with other people. Um, so I'd have to like figure out that piece of it. But dude, I would love to, do a stream with you and just chat. The reason I started doing this is because it just looks fun and I just love talking baseball with people. So anybody who wants to hang out and chat, I'm good with. Um, so yeah, that would be great. Why don't we, we'll chat through DMs on Twitter, X. Sorry, I keep calling it Twitter. And maybe we can figure something out. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. So, all right, been live for almost an hour and a half. Well, my starting soon screen was up for a minute, so hour and 15 minutes. I think it's a good. I think it's a good stream, especially for the draft not filling immediately. My final thoughts on this team. I actually really like it, like a lot. Um, I'm chasing a little bit in the infield. I have to have the Hoskins season that I'm hoping for, and I have to have Suarez kind of go nuts in Arizona for this to work. But this team's fun. I really, really enjoy it. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Anybody who checked into the stream live or after the fact or whatever, first off, I appreciate you could do anything on a Thursday night or whenever you're watching and you chose to hang out here. So I appreciate that. That's awesome. Um, I'm going to definitely focus on getting more of these done as the dinger continues to progress. And I kind of like this nighttime slot more than the afternoon. But so yeah, if you could, like on your way out, hopefully you learned something or at least had a good time watching, listening, whatever. Drop a like on the video if you could. If you could subscribe, that would be awesome. You can find me on Twitter, X. It's in the upper right hand corner. Woo Woo J Train. That's where I'm at everywhere. Make your life nice and easy. Shout out to Dark Sheep and the Stacking Dingers guys. That's baseball and Too Much Tuma. They've got some great stuff going on over there. Our guy in the chat here, William Jones, has some awesome data-driven stuff on Twitter. I really got to apologize, man. I can't remember your handle off the top of my head. But if you follow me at all, you'll see him. Or if you interact with people in the best ball space, you will see him because he's doing some great data stuff. So with that, I'm going to go. My name is Jason, aka Woo Woo J Train. Probably won't do another stream this week. We'll probably look at next week. But